Today is strawberry preserve making day. As you can see, we've got 2 big old tubs of strawberries. These still need to be washed. These were washed last night because I knew we were going to fix them up today. And they've all been stemmed, and so what we're going to do is we are going to wash them and we're going to start chopping them up, and then we'll be cooking them down into preserves. And that's hot water. Okay, so those berries are the ones that we got at the berry farm. So they're probably pretty clean. You really don't want to wash the berries until you absolutely need to use them. They keep a lot longer if you don't wash them. And then once she gets those washed, we'll probably put some of these. This is a pretty big bowl, so we'll probably can put some of these in with the pink bowl and then start chopping them.
We're gonna chop them in the bowl.
Yeah, or did you want to chop them somewhere else?
No,
How do you want to chop them?
It'd be good if we just had a different bowl to chop some in, because some of these are,
Okay.
I can't get like all the, there's some stem stuff.
Just be careful with that bowl.
Okay.
It was Nan's. We're just going to chop those up. We are going to do a water bath. You can just put these in the freezer and they'll keep, and that's fine. But we are going to water bath them so that way we can just keep them on the shelf. I know that I don't have room in my freezer right now because it's filled with beef from a steer that was just butchered not too long ago.
How finely do you want these chopped?
Huh?
How finely do you want these chopped?
That I would think depends on your preference of how chunky you want your preserves to be. So if you want to, I like a little bit of strawberry in mine.
I do too. So that's probably good, don't you think?
I think so. I think that is good. So now we can just put it in our pot to cook. And we do want 5 cups of strawberries, so do you want to measure out 5 cups?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There's 5.
Okay. So then we're just going to keep on chopping until we have enough to make like a double batch. Here we have about 10 cups of strawberries, prepared strawberries. That means that they have been washed, they have been chopped down to the size that we want them. Both my sister and I kind of like our strawberry preserves chunky, so we've got some big pieces left in there because we like to have the fruit. So now what we need to add is 2 boxes of Sure Gel and any kind of fruit pectin you can buy. And then we also need to add 7 cups of sugar. And I know that sounds like a lot of sugar, but that sugar is going to help, and the Sure Gel, it's going to help preserve it, and it's going to help make it a jelly-like. So we'll be getting that here in just a second. Okay, so now that we have our strawberries in there, we just need to add in 7 cups of sugar. There, we're going to mix this up, and we are going to let the berries sit in the sugar for about 10 minutes, and then we can mix the Sure Gel with the water and then add it, and then we will be cooking this. If you don't like the idea of having all that sugar, there is a pectin that you can buy that allows you to use low sugar, or even honey for that matter. There's even ways that you can make your own pectin from fruit, which is something that I have not tried yet but would like to do. Alright, so that's all stirred up. So we are going to wait about 10 minutes and then we'll get the pectin all ready and then we'll add it in. Okay, while we're waiting, we need to actually add the pectin and water in a small saucepan and cook. So I've got 1.5 cups of water in my saucepan. It's 3/4 cups per package of the pectin. And I've added one of the packages of pectin. I'm getting ready to add the other package. And then I just want to bring this to a boil and stir it constantly. I like making gravy. So stir this, make sure all the lumps are gone, and then bring it to a boil. Okay, here's my pectin cooking, and it is now just starting to boil. I thought it was starting to boil. Okay, now you can see it boiling. I'm going to set the timer for a minute. And then this is perfect timing. As soon as this gets done, I can go ahead and pour it on the fruit with the sugar because it's already been 10 minutes that the fruit and sugar has set. Now, turn that off. You can add this to the fruit mixture. And stir that up. Okay, these are ready to be ladled. My sister's bringing over jars, or jelly jars. You can see I've got my water bath canner going. It's not boiling yet, so we may hold off just a little bit before we put these in the jars, because the jars need to be hot going into the water that's hot. Start filling our jars. So I just get a measuring cup, and I like these because they have a little lip on the edge so that you can pour stuff in. And you want to fill it up. You want to allow like a 1/2 inch of head space. So once you get one filled, then you kind of want to take that off and kind of, let me get a pot holder, my pot holder drawer, and then just kind of tap it. And these ridges will show you where you want it. So you want it up to here. The rest of that, the head space. So we'll fill all these up and then I'll show you what to do next. Okay, now we've got the jars filled and we're going to have to clean them off and put them into the canner. So if you just wanted to freeze them or use them immediately, what you would do is just put the lids on, kind of wipe off the jars, put the lids on, and then just let them sit on the counter for 24 hours. And you can either put them in the freezer, or you could just put it right into the fridge and start eating it. But what we have to do, because we want to can, is make sure that the rims of them are cleaned off really well. So right around here, because we want to get a good seal. So if you, so what I'm going to do is just take this, I've just got a wet paper towel. I'm cleaning it off on the top and on the sides. And then you can see right here all that came off. So we're going to do that with all the jars, and then we're going to put one of these lids on, and then we're going to put the rim on to hold it down. And you just want it fingertip tight. You don't want it super tight. And then we can put them into the canner and then they'll be ready to can. We're just gonna set them down in here. And you want the water to go over the jars, top of the jars. So if you see right now, the water's not quite over the top of the jars. But by the time we get all the jars in there, then with water displacement, it will cover the jars. Okay, so now we've got all of our jars in there. We can fit about 12 jelly jars into the canner. And I don't know if you can tell, but the water is covering all of the jars. So now we're going to put the lid on because we want this to boil. Once it starts boiling, then we can start timing, and we want to process them for 10 minutes. So there's my lovely sister. She's finishing up with our first batch. Okay, these have processed in this boiling water bath for 10 minutes. So we are now ready to take these out. And we're just going to set them over here. And we're going to cover them up, and we're going to let them sit until you can hear them pop, and that means that they have sealed. I'm going to try to get these 2 at a time. You have to be very careful because they are very hot. So here I have my jars. We're just going to peek underneath here. I have them all covered up, and already there has been 3 that have popped. And I was hoping to catch another one to pop so you guys could hear it too. But we're just going to keep these covered up. In fact, I'm not going to move them until probably tomorrow. So we'll need to get these to be cooled down completely. And of course, that's all there is to making strawberry jam or strawberry preserves. And if you don't want to can them, then it's even easier. It's one of the jams and jellies are one of the most easy things that you guys can make. So that's it. Anything you want to add?
No, it's fun. And then we get to eat this all winter. As our grandma used to say while the snow's flying.
That's right. If it lasts until then.
Right.